All right. Just like I told Ken, it doesn't matter if you're not ready to go live because we're live.
We're live. Yes. This is the first time we're doing an affiliate files live.
A live affiliate files that's streamed to Ken Fiorical Marketing. It's streamed to 30-minute marketing. We're covering all the bases. So anybody and everybody that's watching, we want to say thank you for showing up live. Of course, for those replayers out there, we love you too. Just let us know in the comments that you're watching on replay.
Yeah.
And another thing, though, we got to try to keep up with the comments because I know me and Ken. I know for me anyway. Like I'm definitely not used to being live on the affiliate files. So,
Well, you've been live. You've been live doing other things. So
true. I'm used to lives don't bother me, but I know on the affiliate files, we don't edit the affiliate files, which most people might find interesting. That we don't edit those at all. You know what I mean? Like the audio, I do edit to take out some of the big gaps for the podcast. Whereas, because if you're watching it on YouTube, you can see us like our facial expressions and the pauses we do. But on the audio, I have to narrow that down to make sure that people don't lose interest in what it is we're saying.
yeah, absolutely. Well, I know that today it's going to be interesting stuff, interesting topic that we're
Yes.
going to be talking about.
And we're going to jump right into that. I was just going to check real quick to make sure that the live stream is working and
Oh yeah.
everyone can hear us. And if you comment, we'll try to get to those too. Because if you have any questions, go ahead and feel free to ask those questions.
Yeah.
As we're talking about list building. And the thing we're talking about today is list building. And I know for a fact that everyone, when they hear the term list building, is going to think email list. What do you think, Ken? Email list?
Yeah, I mean, right off the bat for sure for most people, but there's I mean it's flexible, I should say. So I know that it for me, and I know for you, just having been doing this for a while, that it spans multiple areas. But yeah, typically when I hear that, I immediately think, okay, emails.
So I believe personally that building an email list is the best thing long term for you to do. Even in 2022, people are going to argue that there's better places to build lists. My argument, and I think most of the people that are out there doing this online marketing thing are going to say that, yeah, that's great. Thinking about building lists on other platforms, and it's very important to spread your message across these different platforms, across these different types of media.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, an email list or a list of people and their email addresses that they've given you is something you own that you can download, you can store. We talked about this on the affiliate files in an episode where Brian Kurtz had actually mentioned that he printed out his list and took it to the bank and put it in a safety deposit box, right?
Yeah. That is so awesome. I mean, that's how valuable it is though. I mean, because it's a list of people, actual human beings that you communicate with, that you build a relationship with. So it is, to me, I consider it to be the most valuable asset that you own. I know it is for me. I know it is. Totally.
For sure. And one of the things that we're going to talk about here, and we have a list of 5 things that we're going to sort of talk about as far as these are the reasons you need to build a list. Yeah. And some of these are going to bring out things that you may not heard before, or you may have not heard from, or you may have not heard in this specific sort of format or style, right? Sort of outside of the box, if you will, right? You got to change the paradigm. Remember that? That was an old Verizon commercial, I think.
Yes. Absolutely.
All right. So number 1, and these really aren't in this is the number 1 thing you have to do. This is just the number 1 thing. The first thing we're going to talk about. So working on building a list helps you get more clear on your message and what people want more or less of you from. And that means in the form of the content that you put out, your message.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's really important for you guys. And there's a sign behind Gary that he always points to right there. He does it automatically. Focus. You got to really be focused and really hone in on what your message is, particularly to base it off of what your audience is there for. They follow you, they subscribe to you for a reason. You need to stick with that. And we've used the whole vegan dogs and baby alpaca examples. If you guys follow us on the podcast, we use it a lot. However, if you have an audience of people who are interested in vegan dogs, if you all of a sudden you start emailing them or communicating them about baby alpacas, then people are going to wonder why they're subscribed to your list. So definitely you want to be able to hone in, stay focused on your message, stay on point, because you want to have the consistency of your message going forward. That's what's important, so that they know what they're getting from you.
Yeah, I think this, while I said there's no particular order, but this really is number one, right? It's like you got to get clear on your message and understand that being clear on your message might take you a little bit of time. So when you're building a list, this isn't a thing where you just, okay, today I'm going to build a list and this is my message, and I'm going to start adding people to my list, my email list, my Facebook Messenger list, my Facebook group, my WhatsApp list, right? And it's just like, okay, and that'll be the last time that I ever have to build a squeeze page, and that'll be my ultimate message. It'll never change, and this thing will just start rolling. I'll add people, and this is just going to be brilliant, and I'm going to make tons and tons of money. No, that's not how it works. Yeah. So understand that this is something that is always going to be a work in progress, but focus on your message and scream from the top of your lungs that your message is exactly what you want people to hear, exactly what you're about, exactly why they're getting on your list, and the messages that you're going to follow up with them, what they're going to be about.
Yeah. And I think that's what people fail to realize, that it is a work in progress. You and I we're always, every day, we're working on our lists, not only, refining our message and making sure that we stay on point, but making sure that we add more people of like-minded people to that list, because those are the people that we want to communicate with. So it's never, you just set it and forget it. It's one of those things where you got to constantly be working on it, constantly be honing it. This is the experience that people probably don't realize what's involved. They don't see this side of email marketing side of it, that you're constantly doing this. I think the whole misconception of, the laptop lifestyle and I'm going to buy this thing and that's it, and I'm going to be sipping Mai Tais on a beach, that kind of stuff, that's all fantasy. The reality of it is you're constantly working, constantly retuning and refining your list. And that's reality, folks.
Yeah. So, I mean, even for us, together, as the co-host of the Affiliate Files, The Truth About Making Money Online, we're targeted, our message is specifically targeted for beginners wanting to get started basically as a side hustle and using affiliate marketing as that. It's really who we're looking at. And then, of course, over at 30-Minute Marketing and Fiorical Marketing, we're targeting basically the same sort of, avatar, if you will. But we do have individual messages at 30-Minute Marketing and Fiorical Marketing.
Yeah.
It's important to target that. And then moving on to number 2, once you figure out what that message is, the importance of having a list, the importance of building a list, specifically as an affiliate marketer. If you just use a traffic strategy of, I'm going to put up my message and just link them over to my affiliate product, you're missing out on this one in a big, big way. This is where you're leaving a lot of money on the table, in my opinion, as well. Number 2 is sending, or the ability to send, regular updates.
Yeah, absolutely. I think a lot of people think that, once you build that list, that all you have to do is just send out links to your affiliate products and you're going to be rolling in the money. What you got to realize is that your list is a living, breathing organism, and you've got to feed it with information to keep it healthy. And not only just feeding it with your promotions, but you've got to provide value. The way that you nurture this list and you grow this list and you grow this passionate following for whatever brand that you have is by providing value. And that's the reason why knowing what your message is and being clear on that is so important, because whatever you're going to be feeding that list in terms of content that you want to share with them that's going to actually help them has to be on point to what your message is all about. And just constantly, just to me, it's just a nurturing process, because you want to have a long-term customer. That's how you make money. That's how this passive income thing comes in, folks, is that you have to, and I use the air quotes, it's like the professor laughed there, but it's you definitely want to provide value and really grow that list and build that long-term relationship.
1000%. And I wrote sending regular updates is the best way to build trust. Here's a thing that most people aren't going to tell you. Everyone has their strategy. They'll give you the Gary V, what is it? Jab, jab, right hook, right? Value, 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 sell, whatever. I mean, some people tell you to sell, sell, sell. Right? Sending regular updates is the best way to build trust with your list. Regular updates is however often you need to keep your list updated on what's going on, so you're helping them with the information that they signed up for.
Yeah, and I think there's all kinds of advice floating out there, but this is your list, and so you've got to establish your personality with that list. And you got to understand that some people are going to like your personality, some people aren't going to like it, and that's just it, right? You establish your personality because that's your brand, and you want to communicate to them the way that you want to communicate. If you guys are on the professor's list, he always starts it off with the weather, and I get his emails and I just love it because right off the bat I know what the weather is like in his neck of the woods immediately right off the bat. So I expect it. So if you were to actually send an email without that, it would feel kind of weird actually, because I'm so used to hearing it. But that's his personality. That's how the professor is. That's how Gary is. And to me, that's him establishing that kind of personalized touch without getting so personal with it, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and that's one of the things I do at the very very beginning of my email. It's just always that first line. Sometimes it'll be a first line turns into a paragraph if there's something around the story that's going to be like an event that is occurring, keeping me from getting out certain information on time, or like if I'm doing a promotion or something, I'll let people know what the weather is at the beginning of the promotion, and the fact that, hey, look, a promotion's coming up, right? You're going to do the automation churn here. You're not going to get weather updates because this stuff's going to be going out fast and furious, different times, different dates. And I like to use that as a way just to be real with people, because people at the end of the day know they're on an email list, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. Hey, we got a question there, right? You're going to post it right there?
Yeah. Pete Gooch Online. Hey, Pete. When making reviews on my YouTube channel, majority are negative. And warning of the SOS, that's shiny object syndrome, the shiny objects programs. How can I build my list this way? Well, so you defined who your audience is, right? Your audience, when they land on your YouTube channel, and you're building a list on your YouTube channel, by the way, because to roll that back, your list is your audience. And we're talking about, putting people on an email list is basically the end game, right? For most of this. But the people that subscribe to your YouTube channel, or the people that, even if they don't subscribe to your YouTube channel, that show up on your YouTube channel, they're looking for that specific information in the form of a review. In your case, you say negative. I don't like to say negative. I like to say real review. I think Ken has moved from honest to no BS, but
yeah,
he's sort of rebranded himself there, right?
Yeah, absolutely. That was the first thing I was going to point out, is that you're providing it your honest opinion. So I don't think of it as a negative review, because and people who don't know our channels, who don't follow us, we do these reviews. We provide honesty and our honest feedback on these products. Some people say that they're negative. I don't think they're negative, because I'm just giving you the straight up truth. So it's honest, it's no BS, it's real, and I think that speaks a lot. But yeah, you're building your following, right? When you do these types of reviews, you're touching upon that specific audience that we are going after. And these are the people that buy these types of products. You're trying to help them. You're trying to provide value by letting them know. And I just did a review today. If you guys check out my channel, I just did a review today. And I always like to dive into the strategies of these types of products, because that's the important thing. At the end of the day, how are you supposed to be making money using something like this? So I tell people what the strategy is, and I give them my honest opinion based off of my experiences, how you're supposed to do it, what the challenges are. And my recommendations, especially because a lot of people that are looking at these types of products are total beginners. And so I want them to see both sides of the story, not the side of the story that some marketers out there, I'm not going to name them, but some marketers out there who will basically not even tell you what the product's all about and go straight into, their $50,000 worth of bonuses that they got, which, by the way, costs more than the $17 product they're interested in. Yeah. So, but by doing that, and by touching that audience and reaching that audience, you're building your following, your subscribers to your channel. And these people invariably, eventually, when that light bulb goes off, that, yeah, you know what? Pete Gooch online, he knows what he's talking about. This is my man, my boy. I'm going to click on that link and I'm going to sign up because I'm interested to know what he wants, how he wants to communicate with me so I can grow as a marketer.
Yeah. So going back to, the fact that number 2 here, based upon your question, Pete, sending regular updates is the best way to build trust. So if and when you build a list and your list is built on the fact that you're telling the truth about these programs, the next step is, well, if these are, like you said, negative, or these are real reviews about these programs, you're going to have good programs, you're going to have bad programs. If you're finding that you're having your reviews mostly be, in your opinion, negative, then you need to stretch your horizons, or it'd be my recommendation for you to stretch your horizons and go find something good to let people know about. Now, if you have something currently that is really good in your opinion, then that's what you're telling them as you do the negative review. You're saying, oh yeah, and by the way, this is my recommendation based upon all these other products I've looked at that don't provide you with what they're telling you and what you need, then check out my recommendation. And going back to that, right, that goes back to those regular updates that you're going to be sending your audience. You're going to be sending those in the form of updates or reviews. So those updates are going to be your videos on your channel. Those updates are also going to be more information in your emails. Or if you have a Facebook group, it would be more information that they can't get or don't get in the review and they don't get in the email. You see what I'm saying? The list is your audience and the different touch points that you create. And I'm not saying you need to create all of these today, right? I'm just saying slowly you'll build out and you'll find these other touch points and these places where your message resonates more with the people that you're actually putting on your list.
Absolutely.
And Pete had a follow-up here. By negative, I meant there's no reason why the subscriber should enter their email to obtain anything. Subscribers rarely follow regular comments, so how do I connect with them? Well, that's just it. You keep talking to them in your content. You know what I mean? Like that first wave of content you put out, they haven't found a reason to comment yet. So specifically talking to YouTube and list building on YouTube, you need to give them a reason to comment. You need to ask them questions. You need to get them to interact with your video. Your video needs to become more interactive. Stop making it more such a presentation, right? And make it a conversation is what I would recommend on that. But the reason behind your subscribers actually giving up their email address is you have to give them something of value.
Yeah, absolutely. And value is what we're all about. I think, to me, and I mentioned this a lot within our group, and for those of you guys who don't know, we belong to a community called Taking Action Online. And a lot of times I'll mention to the group that we're in the business of building trust. That's what we're here for, is to build trust. The only way you build trust is by providing unbridled value, being honest and open. Not everyone's going to agree with you. Trust me, I get a lot of people who don't agree with me on a lot of things that I say. However, I know that I'm giving my honest opinion, and my opinion is my opinion. So, but yeah, by providing value, that's how you get these people to start, subscribing and following you. And that's what it's all about. It takes time. It just takes time. And the more you do what you're doing, it compounds. And that's how you start building that up.
Yeah. And it's nothing that happens overnight, and I think that's the key here. And obviously, when we, the affiliate files, we talk about the truth about making money online. And thanks, Pete. I'm glad it helped you, because that's the message here, right? That's the message, whether you're watching us on the affiliate files or over at Ken Fiorical Marketing or 30-minute marketing, is to focus, like Ken says behind him, finish what you started. These things take time, you know what I mean? And it takes effort on your part to realize that you're not getting what you want from your audience. Well, maybe they're not getting what they want from your message. And you just craft that message, going back to what we talked about in that first thing, right? Working on building a list helps you get more clear on your message, right? So this is an ever growing thing. This is something you'll always be working on, right? And what people want more or less from you in the form of your content. So go back to that first one and look at your message and say, why aren't people interacting with me? Why aren't people signing up to my email list, right? What's the disconnect? How do I build that bridge that they want to cross, right? And make that bridge as short as possible, by the way, because people don't want to go over a long bridge. That's just scary.
Yeah. And we talked about that in yesterday's workshop on things that you can do, and just, asking people for their opinion, get them involved, keep it brief, keep it short, get to the point, and just ask. There are times when I just ask, I'm interested to know what you think. Drop your comment down below because I want to know. And that's just a really great way to build that engagement.
Yeah.
Speaking of
Fire crochet hairstyles. Hey guys, love seeing honest and ethical marketers. You guys are great. Appreciate
awesome.
that.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. That is fantastic. And of course, that's the entire purpose of the affiliate files. Of course, Ken Fiorical Marketing and 30-minute marketing are individual channels. That's the whole purpose, right? Is we're just out here looking to let people know the truth. And like Pete, Pete was talking about his negative reviews, whereas I do real reviews, and Ken does his no BS reviews. We're just trying to show you and say, hey, look, even the worst product, usually I can find one or two things that you get value, just, especially if it's a cheap product or an inexpensive product, I'll say.
Yeah.
You can usually, you'll stumble over two or three things and you'll be like, matter of fact, even before this live, Ken was mentioning a product and he was like, wow, these people really work hard to find these angles and these tactics that are out there that nobody would really think of, But, there's usually a disconnect between the marketing, your message, right? Going back to what we were talking about, building that message, make sure there's no disconnect there, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And then moving on, number 3 is get personal. Personalize your message to your target audience.
Yeah. And, the professor, he already does that when he does his messages, and he talks about the weather, and he gives a little bit of his personal life in there, which really helps to build that connection. Because even though we're online and we're communicating via email, when you're communicating via email and someone lets you into their email inbox, that's a very personal relationship. And I think the professor takes it one step further by talking about personalized areas of his life. I do that as well, but not to the point where I've branded it, where if someone didn't see it, they see an email where I don't talk about the weather or something, that they would feel kind of like, whoa, something's wrong there. But I tend to try and use stories from my experiences or things that I read in the newspaper or see on news, and try to relate that to the experience that I'm trying to, or the message that I'm trying to get across in my email. But yeah, personalizing your message really helps to build that connection. And that's what you want. You want a connection. You want a relationship, a long-term relationship with your subscribers, with your list. And that's super important.
Yeah. So I believe that getting personal and developing your message to let your personality shine, but also getting personal with people as they reply back to you.
Yeah.
And then responding. And in a technical term would be called like segmentation, right? Building different segments of your audience. But really, if you do that right at the beginning with your message, you're going to naturally segment those people as they enter your list. But you're going to find that when people get on your list, they're going to want to go in different directions, because people naturally are interested in lots of different things. We're not just interested in one thing. For example, I like talking about caring for baby alpacas or vegan dogs, or right. So, I mean, these things naturally interest me because I think they're weird, but So let people know that, right? Let people know from your personal aspect, from your personal stance, what you think about the product you're recommending, and how you think it can definitely help them based upon their feedback, and let them know that you want feedback, right? And then again, take that to the technical term of segmenting your audience by personalizing the message, not just being personal, but personalizing the message for your audience.
Yeah, and I think that takes time. That really takes time. I remember when I first started my first list, my initial list. This was when the rubber really hit the road and I was actually doing it. I tried all kinds of stuff. I thought, okay, well, I'm so used to these marketers writing these long story ones. They're just these really long form emails. And I remember I experimented with it, trying to get, quote unquote cute. Here I'm using the air quotes again, but try to get cute with it. And I remember I don't know how many people unsubscribed from my email list because that's not what they signed up for. They signed up because of me. And so for you, it's definitely important to let your personality come out, and how you communicate with that list. We're speaking about personalizing too. Before we address the comment there, one thing that Gary and I do is we send replies back via video. So sometimes when somebody communicates with me and they ask a question, rather than write back a very lengthy response in reply to them, I'll just shoot a video and say, "Hey, look, I got your message. Here's my take on it. Blah 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 blah," and I'll send it off. And people reply back saying, "This is amazing. I never thought that I would actually get you to respond via email." So that's another way to personalize your message to your audience as well.
Yeah, for sure. And we have a comment here. Web design faster. I'm not sure exactly who that is. The biggest problem today is no one trusts anyone because the market is full of liars and people like me, and you suffer for it. I'm not sure what the people like me is about, but the market is full of liars. Yeah. I mean, I look at the world as, right, like you have your own outlook on people, right? Most people think the world is full of liars. Most people think that most people are honest and tell the truth until they don't, right? So, I mean, I think that's a personal sort of perspective on the world and people out there. So,
I'm wondering if they're talking about just this whole internet marketing world that we're in, this small section, this small pool that we're in, that you and we throw on our chain mail every day, and we go into the piranha infested waters to try and help people that are swimming in that part of the pool. But overall, yeah, I mean, it's just experiences. I've you and I, Professor, we've gone through the ringer, right? And especially in the neck of the world that we're in, it's the analogy I like to use is the person that steps off it's the proverbial Hollywood success story, right? The bus pulls up to the station, opens up, and then you just see these two boots stepping off, and you see the bag drop, right? And then it pans up to the person going, "This is it, like this is it," right? And I see that all the time because I was like that too. And Gary and we come from professional backgrounds. We're rational, intelligent people. And we that bus door opened, we stepped out, we dropped our bags, we're like, all right, here we are. We're gonna do it. And it's just a different world, and you start learning just through experience. And it's an unfortunate experience that a lot of people go through. And that's the reason why we try to create helpful content to help people avoid the kinds of mistakes that we made.
yeah. And we talked about this on the podcast. So
Yeah.
the affiliate files, we had an episode, it was called Marketing or Manipulation.
Yes.
Right. And no one trusts anyone because the market is full of liars. Okay. So if you're specifically talking about the make money online market being full of liars, well, I wouldn't necessarily say they're liars in all cases. The majority of the cases is overhyped, right? Is manipulating you into thinking something is going to be easy when really the word they mean is simple, right? And they're replacing words that a lot of people think are synonyms, which aren't synonyms, right?
Yeah.
Easy and simple aren't synonyms, but a lot of people use them interchangeable based upon the message and how they want to get the message out. And the fact that if you use the word simple versus using the word easy, you might see your clicks go up and your purchases go up. Then again, you might see those refunds go up as well.
Yeah, that's what he's meant. Okay, awesome, awesome, awesome. Yeah,
Yeah. So
good.
that moves us. That was a great question, and really, yeah. But your first sort of take on it, and the reason that I wanted to sort of go off into that sort of musing of, right, that sort of that adventure of, look, it's just the way you perceive it, right? Like I've paid $17 for a product. I've paid, 5,000, $10,000 for a product or coaching, and what did I get the most out of? I got the most out of when I had the best attitude of that. Look, I bought into this. Doesn't matter the price. I bought into it. So let me get out of it what I can. Now, if the training or if the coaching is just lacking, I mean, that's just there's nothing you can say for that, right? And if they just straight up lie to you, I mean, that's a different story, right? I mean, if somebody says, I'm going to sell you a gold bar and you open it up and it's a rock, I mean, yeah, they lied to you. You got ripped off, right? I mean, they took your money. So yeah, appreciate that web design faster. And I would say that leads us into number 4, in my opinion, when you're talking about building a list, right? And a lot of people see this one way or the other, especially, when we talk about what they're not telling you, right? You really have to brand yourself as an expert, and you're building brand believers, and you're the brand, when you're doing marketing like what we're talking about specifically in this, using yourself as the brand, using yourself as the front guy, right? And you're not creating a pen name and this kind of thing, maybe doing, e-commerce or whatever. We're talking specifically about affiliate marketing, and you being the front face. Even if you use a pen name, right, you still have to brand yourself as the expert, and you're building that brand over time, and there's different levels of being an expert as well.
Yeah, I think that's the one of the challenges that we all face getting started, right? Is imposter syndrome. How can I explain something when I haven't really gotten to that level of that expertise, that expert level? Man, I'm using the air quotes a lot today. I'm using the air quotes a lot today, but but it just comes over time, because you got to realize that when you're communicating with your audience, the people who follow you, the people who sign up for your email list, or they follow you on social media, they know less than you do. So, you gotta understand that you know more than those people that have signed up, and that as long as you keep pushing forward and learning, you can share your experiences with them. You can share your perspective, and this is what's going to really build that connection with people, because they like to hear the experience. They want to know what happens. What happens when I do this? What happens when I do that? And if you can actively share that with your audience, you're not only building up your brand believers and that trust, but you're really educating these people as they go along, because now you're sharing your perspective with them, and I think it's a wonderful way to do that.
Yeah, for sure. And web design faster, you followed up. So have I. Bought many crappy products over the years. Yeah, I think we've all been through that. I think Ken said, "Go through the ringer." I think is
Yeah,
the phrase he used. But that's part of the list that you're building, right? As you brand yourself as an expert, you don't want to put out crappy products. You don't want to put out a crappy message, right? You want your message to be as good as it can be, as valuable as it can be. So that way you build brand believers,
yeah,
right? They believe in you, they believe in your brand. That's not to say that they won't be let down at some point, or in some cases, because after a while maybe they expect too much, or they expect so much, you know what I mean? And they might outgrow you as the expert. I mean, you know what I mean? Like when people get on your list, they may be at a certain stage. And then after you brought them up to a certain level, they may move past your message. If your message stays for the beginner, and then after 3, 6 months, you've elevated them above beginner, you keep putting out that same message about beginner level stuff, right? You're going to move on.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah, absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So I say we'd move on to number 5. And this, you own your list. No one can ever take it away from you. I put a caveat here. Of course, this is platform dependent. And this goes back, we were talking about at the beginning about building an email list. So, and I would even take that a step further and sort of look at, like, old school direct response, email list, telephone number, address. At that point, you're building a list of people, right? And that's the way you definitely need to think about this no matter what. Your audience is a real person. are real people. Each individual email is a real person, right? So that list that you're building goes back and it's all stacks on building your brand believers, right? Building trust via the regular updates, and then working on your message so that it's very crystal clear to them what you're all about, and staying on that topic and making sure that you don't switch from one thing one day to another thing the next.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, when you talk about building you own your own list. I mean, you can equate that to your tribe. You know how people talk about your tribe? Well, that's your people, your peeps. And that's the reason why when you build that list, those people voluntarily chose to follow you, to submit their email address, to open up your emails, to listen to your message. So that's the reason why it's such a personal experience. Even though most marketers will talk about email lists and subscribers, and this is just the jargon about it. It's just the people who follow your tribe, the people who trust that you're going to provide them with accurate information, that you're going to reveal to them, you know, some of the things that maybe they've never learned before, but you're the person that's going to help them. I think that's so important. And again, it all stems back to providing value. I mean,
Yeah.
it sounds cheesy, but you know what? That's the secret.
I mean, that's something they're not going to tell you. You got to go through all these different hurdles, right? You got to go through the awkward stage. You got to go through, oh, I think this is a cheesy message stage. It's the value that you deliver. And once you build that list, it belongs to you, right? Based upon that brand that you're building. Of course, if you get an email address, if you get a telephone number, if you get a physical address, right? Those types of lists definitely belong to you, and no one can ever take that away from you. Building a list of subscribers on a messenger on Facebook or Instagram, or building a following on that specific platform, even like here on YouTube, that can be taken away from you, but the message and the value that you delivered and the brand that you built on that platform can't be taken away from you, because you can always, let people find you in other places. And again, that's not to say that you want to start doing all that at once. If you're just a beginner, you want to start and pick one thing and then sort of, move forward. Ken and myself, YouTube, I have a Facebook group, I utilize my Facebook profile. Ken and I have the affiliate files, which you may or may not watch that on YouTube. You may listen to it on the podcast, right? It's a different platform, a different list that we're building, a different medium, different medium for our audience, our list to find our content. So that leads me into what I like to always say, pro tip, right? Having number 1, number 2, number 5, number 3, number 4, number 5, and saying, okay, I'm going to stack all these together and I'm going to start here and do that, right? If you have something to sell or you want to start selling something, you need to find people that are interested in the thing, and then you need to get them on your list. Wherever you're building that list, get them on that list. Get them to subscribe, get them, to keep watching your videos, get them to comment on your Facebook posts, whatever it is, whatever your list building mechanism is, get them on that list.
Yeah. And it takes consistency. It really does. It takes consistency in your message. It just takes consistency because, again, people follow you and they're going to know, like, and trust you based off of the message that you are providing them. And that's how you connect with them. That's how you attract the people that you want on your list. And it's so important to stay on point and on topic and not, hop around from place to place. And just really, as the professor said, just focus on one thing. Focus on one thing and build from there. You can't just get everything done for you all at once. It just doesn't work that way. And it just takes time. And you and all of us, we all evolve differently over time. And I think that's part of, we call it a journey, is part of the journey of becoming a marketer. You just have to do these things and you evolve over time, and where you end up is where you end up, and you make adjustments from there.
Yeah. So Web Design Faster, what is Ken's channel? And I actually posted it, but the formatting got weird on me. But that's Ken's channel, Ken Fiorical Marketing, and that's the link. And then, of course, 30-minute marketing right there.
Absolutely. You're welcome.
Yeah. Web Designer Faster. Yeah. Thanks. Thank you. Thank you for asking, and thank you for showing up.
Yeah.
Because that's the point, right? The point is for us to get our information out. And like I said, If you have something to sell or you want to start selling something, you need to find people that are interested in the thing. If you're interested in list building, and this is what you want to do, is you want to find people. You want to find people that are about your message, about the thing that that you can provide content for them that is going to be helpful content that's going to help them. Because when you're building that list, the thing you definitely want to do is you want to provide value up front. You go back to that, sending out your message and sending out what type of, message you want to send out, whether you want to sell, whether you want to provide value. I do believe in sending value, but the thing that you have to do is you have to realize that you want to help them up front, but your ultimate goal of building a list, the reason for building a list at the end of the day, and like we always say at the Affiliate Files, the truth about making money online is you're here to make money. You're here to make money online. So you got to ask for people to go buy the thing that you're recommending.
Yeah. And the only way they're going to do that is by providing value, that they trust you enough to open up their wallets and buy the product that you're talking about.
Yeah, don't be afraid to say, and I posted this in my Facebook group, and I've been reorganizing my Facebook group, sort of changing the message in that list that I built in that Facebook group. Is there's this old saying, it's like, if you have a horse for sale and you want to sell it, then put up a sign that says horse for sale. Right? Don't overcomplicate it. You know what I mean? Don't make it more complicated than it needs to be. You got a horse for sale? Let people know you have a horse for sale. Put them on a list to let them know that you have a horse for sale, and this horse may not be the right horse for them right now, but with the information you're giving them, this is definitely going to be the horse that will solve their problem.
Absolutely.
And with that, if you got questions and you want answers on building a responsive list, you can go to this page right here that you can see, and I'll drop that in the comments as well. Because, yeah, web design faster. Got it. No problem.
Got another comment down there.
Yeah, email marketing is about to die. Yeah, it's been about to die since it came out and people started using it for marketing. Around the email came around in the 70s. It got really popular in the 90s, and it's 2020. And I was just watching a training from Frank Kern, and you may or may not know who Frank Kern is. Doesn't really matter, but he's like an OG of internet marketing, like an old, like old school direct response turned, internet marketer, and he made his money on the internet. I was watching a training called List Control. He put out in 2010, right? And email marketing was the top of his list, And then slowly you can see that people have said that he's flipped over, and now social media and YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, right, has become his thing. Well, he's just adapting to the time and the fact that people think that email is dead, right? Email marketing is about to die, right? No, it's not. That's just marketing messages out there to get you to buy the course on Facebook, to get to buy the course on YouTube, to get to buy the course on TikTok. And that's what we're talking about here. We're talking about building a list independent of the media, the social media, the platform.
Yeah, because as the professor said, when you build that list, that you own it. You own that list. That's your list. So I think that's very important. But yeah, again, that you hit the nail on the head. It's more of a marketing message to get people to take a look at their product that they've got to sell, or their training, or their course. And when they use email marketing, for sure, I can guarantee you that.
Yeah. And it goes back to your message. It also goes back to your audience. And when you're building a list, understanding your audience and knowing where they are, where are they having the conversations that they're interested in, to find the information they're looking for. If they're interested, if they're using Facebook, then go to Facebook, right? Don't try to force them into email. You know what I mean? Because they're not going to respond to email. You know what I mean? Use Facebook. So web design faster. I used to do well before COVID. After COVID, I found people buying but returning the product more often. I mean, that's going to be dependent on the product. I mean, I don't really know which way to go with that. Everybody struggled during COVID with different things, right?
That's true.
And the next one, do you think it would be faster if we know what people are searching for, then provide that product or service? What tools can you use to that? I'll let Ken speak to that one.
Well, definitely you need to put out content. You need to find those people first, because just because you drop a link somewhere in like a Facebook group or something, let's say you're selling a diet product and you just drop a link in there, doesn't mean that everyone's going to be buying that product. Lots of times you got to earn your way to get those people to trust you. And I think that's a thing that people don't seem to understand. And maybe it's a reflection on our society where everything is just so instant and so fast that, attention spans are so short. But really, if you want to have a long-term business, you want something where it can bring you in money, for years and years and years, then you need to build a relationship. First and foremost, build a relationship. Because even people out there who, let's say they run paid ads for products that they're selling, maybe ClickBank products or whatever they're selling, they can do that. But really, how do you build something that's going to last for a longer time? You need an email address. You need an email address so that you can sell related products to that person who bought that diet product. So you got to start off by, even if you do it that way, you're still going to have to build a relationship. So it's all about relationships, which I think people don't seem to want to do. That people just want to sell. And granted, there are some marketers out there where I get hammered with emails selling me stuff pretty much every single day. I don't unsubscribe just because I like to see what they write about and how they write it, because it's good for me to learn how other people market things. But yeah, I mean, you got to start off with value first. You got to earn that. You got to earn that email. Is what you got to do.
Yeah. So would it be faster if we know what people are searching for? I'm going to point up here and say focus, because 30-minute marketing is not about faster. It's about focus. So in that case, stop thinking about would it be faster if we know what people are searching for? Well, yeah. I mean, they'd be quicker to respond if you're entering the conversation in their head. So go back to number one, right? We talked about this. Work on building a list helps you get more clear on your message and what people want more or less of. So if you're trying to build a list, AKA an audience, right? And you're trying to figure out what it is they're looking for, then you have to focus on the questions they're asking. So you have to go find out where they're hanging out, and then you have to find out what questions they're actually asking. They used to do this a lot. They used to say, online forums. Well, online forums are Quora. Online forums are Facebook groups, Reddit, right? Look at YouTube comments on YouTube videos that you watch around that topic. People are asking very specific questions because that is their question. They haven't found the answer. If they found the answer, they wouldn't keep asking the question. Some people do, but most people, once they find the answer, right, they move on.
Well, new people come online or they're looking for answers every single day. I mean, pretty much look up how to tie a tie. I mean, I don't know how many millions of views that video has had already. So people are coming online every day looking for answers. So, knowing what they're searching for, I mean, you just have to know your audience, right? I mean, what's what it boils down to. Know where they're at, what their concerns are, and that's how you do research. And then from there, start just producing content. Produce content that's going to attract those people to your channel or whatever it is, to your blog or social media profile. Provide value and build up that trust, because again, the trust goes a long way. If you're only doing this as a one and done type thing, that's not a way to build a business. That's the reason why we were talking about email lists, because email lists help you to build longevity in your business. It really does, because some of those people are going to be on your list for years and they may buy multiple products from you. So, I look at it as a long-term investment, because when you're building an online business, it's a real thing. It's a real thing, and you want to be in business for a long time. So, the only way you do that is by providing value through content. That's it.
Yeah. I mean, and to this question, what tools can you use to do that? I mean, the number one tool is this right here. It's your brain. You know what I mean? Now, are there tools that, help you sort of look for like longer tail keywords and this kind of thing, and give you like search volumes and competition? And of course, I mean, there's a cajillion of those tools out there, and you just got to go searching for those and you find them, and then you find the ones you like. But it comes down to your message, you know what I mean? And your message is developed by understanding who it is that you're looking for, right? And that boils down to you understanding what it is you're selling. Because at the end of the day, you're selling something. You're selling a solution to a problem to a target group of people that are your audience that you're building a list for. That message is, right? What can I do to help you? You know what I mean? So if you were to think, just to sort of get into the weeds of, it's a desire. People are looking for answers to their questions because they desire a solution, right? So for example, in Make Money Online, what do people want? When we offer up a course on affiliate marketing, what do they want? They want to make money online, right? But what is their ultimate desire, right? And I talked about a Frank Kern training that I watched. And in that training, he actually said this. He said, if I could just, and then finish the question, right? If I could just quit my job and work for myself. That's why they want to make money online, because they want to quit their 9-to-5 job and they want to have their own business, or they think they want to have their own business, right? And they think that that's going to be less work. And if they could just quit their job, what would that lead to? That would lead to the ultimate freedom, right? They would have all the time they want. They would have all the money they want. You know what I mean? But then flip that over and then look at something like in the relationship space. And, me and Ken talk about this all the time. We talk about niches. We talk about baby alpacas. We talk about vegan dogs, right? These are relationships. A lot of people don't realize that. And, I don't want to get too deep in the woods here. And we've been on here a while, but if you want to know what people are searching for, you need to understand what their problem is, right? What is their problem? You know what I mean? So people that love dogs, what do they want? Right? Ultimately, what do they want? Well, you may think that, or they may think that they just want their dog to be happy and healthy. But why do they want their dog to be happy and healthy? Right? Or how can they get their dog to be happy and healthy? What do dog owners, dog lovers, what do they do to have a happy, healthy dog? A lot of times it starts with themselves, right? Looking at why they own their dog and how they can build a better relationship with their dog or the people around them that are lovers of dogs, or maybe they have people in their life that don't love their dog, and that causes a conflict. You see, I hope you see where I'm going with that.
We're going down the rabbit hole. That's the problem with these lives. We could just go on and on and on.
Yeah, so I'm going to stop going down the rabbit hole on that. But I mean, it's a great question that you asked. You know what I mean? But ultimately, if you have something to sell or you want to start selling something, you need to find people that are interested in the thing, right? And the thing is the solution. I want to drive that home. The thing that those people are interested in is a solution to their problem.
Yeah. And Web Design Faster says easier said than done. Yeah, exactly.
Right, easier said than done.
That's like the statement that encompasses everything that we do when you're starting an online business. Easier said than done.
Yeah. And Gustavo, cool, thanks. Hey, we appreciate you being here. It's a great question. And honestly, on the affiliate files, we talk about this a lot. Over at 30-Minute Marketing, I talk about this a lot. I have a whole series, a playlist of videos about niches where I dive into like embarrassing niches and like, odd, awkward, weird niches that you may not think of. Also in my Facebook group, I do that as well. And again, the reason I'm pointing to these different places is because that's where I'm building the list, right? That's where I'm answering the questions that you're asking, because I know you have those questions, right? So my job as a content creator, right? As a media producer, a person that produces media, to build a list, to build an audience is to try to understand where you're at, the conversation you're having in your head and the problem and how I can help solve it.
Absolutely. Hey, Web Design Faster, thank you so much for subscribing. I really appreciate it.
Oh yeah. Everybody subscribe to Ken Fiorical Marketing. Yeah, don't subscribe to 30-Minute Marketing. Go subscribe to Ken Fiorical Marketing.
Oh, check out the professor's channel though. Seriously, you want to. I call him the professor for a reason. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, but there is a link in the comments because we are having a live workshop on the 25th, which is a Saturday. And if you got questions you want answers on building a responsive list, the link is in the comments.
Yeah, absolutely. Come check it out. It's different probably than what a lot of you guys have encountered in the past buying products. And we decided to approach it this way just because we've been in that process. We're in that situation where we've purchased products and coaching courses and things like that, and it's always hard to get straight answers. So we want to provide people with those answers because that's that's what we want to do is we want to tell you guys the truth, and that's the basis, our ethos when it comes to affiliate marketing.
And we've also set that up in a way, that product, that live workshop, we've set it up so after you purchase, you get to ask specific questions. Just like you did here in this live, you were able to drop a question in the comments and follow up with us. And we did our best to answer them. But this is a live workshop. This is going to be a meeting. It's not a webinar. It's a Zoom meeting. You're going to be there live on camera if you want. And we said we're going to give 4 hours to this live meeting to make sure that everyone gets their questions answered. And again, your questions get asked up front via a form after you make your purchase. And we're going to build our presentation around your questions to specifically answer your questions. And then if we don't answer your questions in the live meeting, you get to follow up and make sure that you get what you're looking for.
Yeah, it's all about just having a crystal clear, path, because building a list, it's not easy. It's simple, and we've already told you how you can do it, how you can build a following, but it's definitely not easy. And we want to eliminate any kind of hurdles, mental hurdles, whatever it is, so that you guys can get started building a highly responsive list. That's the goal. That's the goal. That's how you make money online, or at least consistently, by the way.
That's it. You build a list, you follow up with them, just like all the steps. We don't need to go over them again, although we would, because that's what we like to do. We like to talk about marketing and list building, but that's it. This live was about the live workshop. This live was about sort of setting this up so you understand that, look, this is simple. It's not easy. And you have a lot of questions. We all have a lot of questions. And the simple fact of the matter is, or the matter of the fact is, I always reverse that, is that if you have questions, we're going to try to answer them for you in the live workshop, and the link is in the comments. And with that, I don't think there's any more comments rolling in. And as we like to do here on the Affiliate Files, I'm Gary. He's Ken. We'll talk to you later. Bye.